This video contains flashing lights and colors.
It's summer, it's hot, and it's time to take a look at even more wild water slides. As it turns out, there are plenty of water slides throughout history that are downright terrifying. Not for being tall or fast, mind you, but for having unsettling aspects and aesthetics that make them look like they came into reality from at least a few people's nightmares. Whether it's a creepy appearance or a downright terrifying ride experience, let's go over some new and familiar nightmare water slides right here on Theme Park Crazy. No matter how creepy a water slide is, you can't deny that it's great to cool off with. It's certainly been hot around here, and it's nice to have a cool rainy day once in a while. But let me ask you a hot question. Are you where you want to be in your career? Are there times when you wake up and think, I'm capable of so much more, but I feel stuck in the same position? Well, the fact is that success doesn't happen overnight. Even the most successful business people out there have had mentors, coaches, and other people who have guided them and given them advice every step of the way. And that right there is where this video's sponsor, Strawberry.me, comes in. Now for me, I love what I do here on Theme Park Crazy, and I want to be as productive and efficient as possible when it comes to my career. I've been using Strawberry for over a year now, and my career coach and I have discussed several important ideas. These include getting a whiteboard to write down my video ideas, having a backlog of video ideas I could go back to, and incorporating trending topics into my videos. Having a career coach to bounce ideas off of is extremely important. This is especially the case when it comes to the clarity in knowing what my goals are, the strategy in accomplishing those goals, and the accountability in making sure I put those goals into fruition. With Strawberry's expert guidance, you can make sure you're taking the initiative to take control of your career trajectory. If you're interested in this, scan the QR code or click on the link in the description to go to strawberry.me/themeparkcrazy to get 50% off your first coaching session. That's strawberry.me/themeparkcrazy. That's strawberry.me/themeparkcrazy. It's like therapy for your career. I found that Strawberry has given me new knowledge and insights when it comes to my career goals, and I'm sure you will too. Special thanks to strawberry.me for sponsoring this video. Number 10. Funnel web at Australia's Jamboree Action Park. A major source of Australian national pride is the sheer amount of big things. These are large novelty sculptures that often serve as tourist attractions on road trips. As of 2022, there were over 1,000 of these statues across the whole continent. Just a few examples are the Big Banana, the Big Prawn, the Big Wine Bottle, the Big Scotsman, and the Big Toilet. Actually, that's just a gag from The Simpsons, but at Jamboree Action Park in New South Wales, there's the big funnel web spider. For those unaware, the funnel web spider is infamous for being the deadliest spider in the world, with venom that can kill a person in as low as 15 minutes. So naturally, the fine folks at Jamboree decided to theme a funnel slide after it. First opening in December 2012, this slide was actually first constructed as a typical Tornado 60 model by Canadian manufacturer ProSlide. When it first opened, the large funnel element was only in relation to its name, but in 2014, work began on a nightmarish addition. Park officials hired Malaysian company Strike Theming and Leisure to construct this piece of arachnophobia-inducing theming. At a cost of $250,000 Australian dollars or about $174,000 US dollars, this giant arachnid was constructed from steel, fiberglass, and concrete. At over 64 feet tall and 72 feet wide, it holds the Guinness World Record for the world's largest spider sculpture. Jamboree's executive director Dax Eddy told the press, quote, "Receiving a Guinness World Record for building the big funnel web is tremendous recognition and something that will really excite our guests this season. Completing the big funnel web was a real labor of love. There's no doubt being confronted by a giant spider on a water slide is an absolute nightmare for both arachnophobes and megalophobes alike." And spoiler alert, it won't be the only spider-related slide on this list. Number 9. Dragonfall at Finland's Tropiclandia. If you're obsessed with submechanophobia, you may have seen this slide on Reddit before. Located on the Finnish island of Vaskiluoto, Tropiclandia is a water park destination consisting of a spa, a swimming school, an outdoor water park, and an indoor water park. The most notable and unsettling attraction in the latter is this slide. Though it isn't named on the website, the slide has the word Dragonfall written on it, so my guess is that's the name of it. Admittedly, it's easy to just say, look at this slide, it's so creepy, but I'm going to attempt to explain why it's so creepy. For one thing, there's the large, heavily detailed, hyper-realistic eyes in a half-open expression. There's also the fact that this dragon-like character has large, human-looking teeth that seem to stick out from his exaggerated open mouth. Plus, his lower row of teeth appears to be submerged under the water. As you can imagine, the constant run of water puts considerable wear and tear on the paint, so this dragon needs pretty regular paint jobs. Speaking of paint, the slide actually used to look even more unsettling, with a more cartoonish appearance and a wide-eyed expression with red eyes. I'm not sure when this photo was taken, but it was probably over 20 years ago, since there seems to be no video of it in existence. Fortunately, this slide remains operational as of today. If you live in Western Finland, this looks like a great spot to take your family, and possibly give them nightmares too. Number 8. The Keister Coaster at Disney's Boardwalk Resort in Florida. I talked about this a while ago in my 10 Weird Disney Rides and Attractions video, and it's still worth noting here. For years, one of the strangest things at Walt Disney World was not at any of their parks, but at one of their resort hotels. First opening in 1996, this resort is located adjacent to Epcot. It consists of an entertainment district and a hotel called Disney's Boardwalk Inn. Its swimming area is known as the Luna Park Pool. It, like the rest of the resort, is themed to classic seaside amusement parks of the early 1900s. Its centerpiece is the Keister Coaster, a waterslide built to resemble a vintage wooden roller coaster. Today, the exit of the slide is a flat mural depicting Mickey Mouse and his friends. For more than 2 decades, though, this slide had one unique feature that countless guests found unsettling. At the end of the slide, riders used to emerge from the mouth of a giant clown. This thing had enormous eyes, a giant open mouth, and a look that many people described as downright creepy. At night, the design was even more unnerving as the eyes of the clown lit up. Hell, even adults found this design terrifying. In 2020, Disney finally retired the infamous clown face, replacing it with the aforementioned mural. Still though, many miss the old clown, and I gotta say, I'm one of them. I much prefer the intricate 3D sculpture over a flat 2D print. Number 7. Ocean loops on various Norwegian cruise line ships. What do you get when you cross thalassophobia and claustrophobia? You get ocean loops. The slide's design is exclusive to select Norwegian cruise line ships. Featured on Norwegian's Bliss, Joy, and Encore, Ocean Loops has become one of the most famous cruise ship water slides ever built. Manufactured by German waterslide company Aquarena, it's a trapdoor slide that starts with riders stepping into a capsule above the deck. As if the trapdoor drop wasn't intense enough, the slide's layout consists of 2 consecutive incline loops that go over the edge of the ship. Notably, the tube is made out of clear acrylic, allowing guests on deck to see people navigating it. Now, this slide has often gone viral from videos of people getting stuck at one of the low points. Just recently, a video went viral on TikTok in 2025 after a woman got stuck and was seen panicking inside the section of tube over the ocean. The footage terrified viewers, with many remarking on how they would freak out too. Fortunately, what many commenters didn't realize is that she was never in any real danger. This slide is actually equipped with an emergency escape hatch at each low point. If you get stuck, all you have to do is make your way to the hatch, exit, and go down the stairs provided. Even knowing that safety features exist though, the very thought of sitting in a clear tube over open ocean is undeniably nightmare fuel. Number 6. The cabin class pool slide on the RMS Queen Mary. Yes, we're heading all the way back to the 1930s with this one. Specifically, we're talking about Cunard Line's ocean liner, the RMS Queen Mary. Is it Cunard or Cunard? First debuting in 1936, this ship had several notable amenities. Among the ship's facilities were 2 indoor swimming pools for year-round use, a smaller one for the second class, and a larger pool for the first class. The cabin class pool, which spanned the former C and D decks, measured 35 feet long by 22 feet wide. Though it had no windows, the pool room was notable for its Art Deco design, illuminated fountain, and mother-of-pearl ceiling. Originally, the pool featured 2 diving boards and a small slide for passengers to enjoy. But due to safety concerns, the diving boards were later removed to prevent passengers from diving into water whose depth could suddenly change as the ship rolled. The water slide, on the other hand, was kept, and the pool operated as intended for decades. Though it was intended for the first class, other passengers were able to use it at certain points in the afternoon. Though interestingly enough, the water in the pool was replaced before opening it back up to first-class guests. Now, the idea of an indoor pool room with no windows arguably gives off some serious backroom vibes. And that's especially the case with the way the pool looks today. In the late 1960s, the ship was converted into a floating hotel and museum after it was retired from service. Today, it sits permanently moored in Long Beach, California. During the conversion, critical support beams were removed from underneath the pool. That, in addition to corrosion, led to officials closing the pool to the public. The water did sit inside of it until around the 1980s. Nowadays, the pool and its slide are a popular site for paranormal enthusiasts. In fact, it's considered by many to be one of the ship's most haunted areas. A popular legend says the room is haunted by the ghost of a little girl named Jackie who drowned in the swimming pool. However, this story has been disputed as a myth by officials. As of now, the room can only be accessed on special haunt tours. So if you have a ghost-obsessed family member, feel free to take them here. Number 5. Freefall at Austria's Area 47. Last year, we talked about the Extreme Phaser, a slide at Germany's Galaxy Erding that's unavailable to those with certain pelvic regions. Well, as it turns out, it's not the only slide out there with this restriction. In Austria, there's a popular outdoor leisure park called Area 47. This place has plenty of activities to enjoy, including climbing, mountain biking, river rafting, wakeboarding, and a large water park. Among the park's top attractions is Freefall, a slide touted by the park's website as being one of Europe's steepest at 70 degrees. It's also frequently cited as among Europe's fastest slides, with speeds of up to 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers per hour reported. Now you might be wondering what exactly pelvic regions have to do with this slide. Well, at the very start, you can see a warning sign that says, "Due to high risk of injury, women are not allowed to use this slide." This is because the combination of the slide's steep angle and extremely high speed can create forces that may cause injuries to the female genital area due to the way it's positioned. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I'll put a link in the description. Because of the risk of water-based injuries, the attraction is restricted to those with male genitalia. The park actually got some heat from this, with some pointing out that a men-only slide was sexist. Officials responded by explaining that when the slide first opened in 2009, it was available to everyone. According to a park spokesperson, quote, "However, in the second year, we noticed a significant increase in accidents on this slide, which required us to take action. After consulting with doctors, authorities, and the slide's manufacturer Begon Water Rides, they had two options. Either tear it down or make it quote-unquote men only. They opted the latter. The slide recently went viral in 2024 after Australian diver Rhiannon Ifland defiantly went down the slide due to the no women sign. Although she reportedly wasn't injured, it's still an important safety rule to follow from a biological standpoint. Number 4. Wildbach at Czechia's Aquapark Oleszna. What if a water slide had the same effect that a riptide did? Well, you would end up with this obscure water slide in Czechia. This slide, named Wildbach, pulls guests through its seemingly mild course with a pretty strong current. This seems more exciting than scary, but then there's the drop-off turnaround before the outdoor section. After completing the initial enclosed portion, you enter a fairly deep pool. Now here's the scary part. The current actually pulls you underwater here. You see those ropes on the side? Those are there so you can pull yourself up against the force of the current. Now, if you're a larger person, this isn't much of an issue, but there's no doubt it scared plenty of small children. Apparently, the ropes weren't put on the slide until a while after it opened, so there may have been a close call incident. According to Tube Rides, this slide was also made by Aquarina, the same people who brought you Ocean Loops. Ultimately, which experience you find more terrifying is really up to personal preference. Number 3. The Serpent Slide at the Bahamas Atlantis Paradise Island. Ah, the Atlantis Resort. You've probably seen ads for this place as a kid with that large Mayan temple water slide. Well, this area is actually part of a large water park complex, and it's directly attached to an expansive shark tank. Attached to the mock temple are two slides that actually go underwater, the high-speed Leap of Faith and the milder Serpent Slide. For this list, we're talking about the Serpent Slide, since the Leap of Faith goes through the tank too fast to really notice anything. On the Serpent Slide, you start out by descending an opaque blue slide. First, guests head down a winding downward section that actually goes on for a decent length, twisting and turning in both directions. Eventually, they splash down into a transparent underwater tunnel. You are surrounded on all sides by the contents of the shark tank, and there are several nightmarish aspects to this. First of all, the fact that you're in a tight underwater space can easily inspire claustrophobia. Second, the underside and outward edges of the connection points are covered in algae. It makes it feel like the slimy stuff is inside the slide. You may find yourself curling up inside your inner tube to keep your hands and feet away from the walls on instinct. Most notably, you're surrounded by sharks freely swimming around you. Though the slide isn't intense and has had no incidents, it's easy to imagine having a nightmare where the acrylic suddenly caves in or just disappears, leaving you in the shark tank. And really, what's more nightmarish than being stuck in the water with sharks? Well, how about being stuck in a water slide with a giant spider? Number 2. Tarantula at Germany's Europabad. German slide manufacturer Klarer has made some of the most unique and bizarre water slides we've discussed on this channel. At one point, they actually designed a true vertical looping slide, though it didn't make it past the testing phase. As it turns out, they also built more standard water slides, though some have more elaborate theming. In 2018, they went all out on the theming to present a water slide themed to spiders. Before getting on board, you'll see a large spider prop with glowing eyes just sitting on the slide. On the outside of the slide, there are several more spider props scattered throughout, giving it a memorable design even from the outside. But what about the slide experience itself? Well, after grabbing a bar and pulling yourself forward, you descend down a winding descent on your back. And I just realized that descending a descent is redundantly redundant. The inside of the slide is decorated with illuminated spider patterns. You see, what this slide does is use special segments in the molding to allow daylight to shine through them and light them up. After a while, you enter the bowl segment, which uses a colorful LED light package to put a spiderweb pattern above you. And to top it all off, a large spider sculpture hangs overhead in the middle of the bowl. You keep circling the circumference, coming closer to the exit in the middle and the large spider. Finally, you exit through the hole and complete the slide. And I almost forgot to mention, this slide even has a soundtrack. German company Imascore, who also produced the chicken song from the now relocated Build-A-Hilda, created a dark, suspenseful track that plays in the bowl section. I'll put a link to Tube Ride's promo video below, which includes the song. It's definitely worth listening to, even if you're afraid of spiders. This slide really has it all: great theming, a great soundtrack, and the potential for countless nightmares. Needless to say, don't eat chocolate or caffeine before bed tonight. Before the number 1 spot, here's an honorable mention: the unnamed slide at the Vernon Recreation Center in Vernon, British Columbia, Canada. On its own, this is just an ordinary water slide, but what makes this slide so interesting is the liminal setting it operates in, and the eerie video used to promote it. For some reason, the center was promoted by city officials, with an unsettling video featuring a droning ethereal soundtrack and a soft-spoken narrator. The whole thing is just shots panning across mostly empty rooms in the recreation center. Take a listen and tell me if you get odd analog horror / backroom vibes from this place.
The leisure side of the aquatic center features our hot spots, including a large hot tub, a dry sauna, and a steam room. The leisure pool features a handicap access ramp and a depth that increases from 0 to 3.5 meters, making it perfect for all ages. This area also features a raindrop umbrella, a rubber rock, our main feature a 3-story water slide, a Todd's pool, a bubble pit, and the very popular Rapids channel.
To be fair, video production goes a long way, and people have said this place isn't as eerie as it seems. But I'll link the full video below if you're interested in. It really is fascinating for some odd reason. Number 1. Flyover at the Netherlands Tikibad Daniel. I know, I've already talked about this slide several times on this channel, but don't worry because I do have some new visuals to share of it. First, in case you haven't seen my previous slide videos, here's a bit of a breakdown of what we know. First opening in 1994, this slide has become rather infamous in recent years. The slide itself was designed by Dutch company Low-Tech Zwembadtechniek, or Low-Tech Swimming Pool Technology in English. Yes, this company is well known not for making water slides, but for making swimming pools and swimming pool technology. They are a highly respected manufacturer, and they date all the way back to 1843. In the 90s, the company also built a few water slides, the most famous of which was undoubtedly Flyover at Tiki Bad Daniel. This right here was the world's only underwater water slide. No, not underwater like Serpent Slide, but underwater as in the slide was completely full of it with no air. Though it's not confirmed and has been disputed by some commenters. Guests wishing to experience Flyover reportedly had to prove to a lifeguard they could hold their breath for 30 seconds. Also, nobody under the age of 14 was said to be allowed on either. Now, despite the alleged 30-second minimum, the slide itself was only said to be about 10 seconds long. What you did was enter a small pool before diving underwater and being sucked through the tube head first. You then swam through the length of the tube, going around the park's bull slide before coming out on the other side. The slide used the law of communicating vessels, or the siphon effect, to function. According to this principle, when you connect two uneven containers of water, they will communicate with each other to seek an even water line. This is even if one container is much smaller than the other. Because the entrance to the slide was on a higher level than the exit pool, water would naturally flow down from the top and make its way to the bottom through the forces of gravity and air pressure. Now this suction was pretty strong, but as you can see, some effort was likely needed to swim through it. Now one could argue that this was a brilliant concept for high-level thrill seekers. As terrifying as it was, you have to understand how big swimming is in Dutch culture. Until recently, swimming lessons in school were mandatory, and even today, the Dutch take learning to swim extremely seriously. There's even an entire governing body for swimming, known as the Royal Dutch Swimming Federation. With that said, the designers may have simply intended to make a unique swim-focused thrill ride for Dutch audiences. However, that didn't stop this slide from failing on an operational standpoint. In order to prevent people from getting stuck in the slide and drowning, the tube was lined with sensors to detect if anyone was going too slowly through it. If someone did get stuck, the slide would drain in just 5 seconds. On several occasions, troublemaking guests would sit down in the slide and not move, causing it to completely drain on its own. Now, because of these safety features, there were no reported injuries or fatalities despite local tall tales. But the occasional draining of water and the amount of water that had to be pumped through it on a regular basis led to extremely high operational costs. Not only this, but the slide reportedly didn't have a high ridership, likely due to how frightening it was to the general public. The slide was last seen operating in 2003, but the exact closing date is unknown. As of right now, only one video of the slide is known to exist, keeping the attraction from being lost media. Just think though, if this video wasn't taken, this slide would largely only exist as a memory to many. Hopefully more video of this slide is released. For now though, let me know which of these slides is more likely to give you nightmares in the comments section. And speaking of comments,
now it's time for the comment shoutout program. This is where I take 5 random comments from my previous video and read them out.
These comments come from my video on the Universal Kids Resort. Be with Tamiya says, I wonder if the painting issue is due to the Texas heat and the maintenance of having to repaint constantly. The Allura Diary says, they could have totally made Mrs. Puff's Ride bumper boats. Metric Spark says, this park needs time and attention honestly, although if I had kids, I would take them to this park as a small family outing. Ruiz Rental says, they tried to rush it for FIFA visitors. And the Graduate 702 says, they could have cloned the indoor kids section that they have at Universal Studios in Beijing.
If you want to see your words in my next video, leave a comment down below and it may be selected. Please note though that inflammatory or spam comments will not be read.
Feel free to check out my Patreon in the description for exclusive archived video content.
Thanks for watching everyone. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on social media on Instagram and Facebook, or you can check out my website at themeparkcrazy.com.
And I'm on TikTok.
This is Theme Park Crazy, and I'll see you all next time.